Fear has a scent, and narcissists breathe it in like oxygen. Psychopathic narcissists, I'm talking about, thrive on it. Not just thrive, they crave it. They drink it in, savor it, feel it ignite something deep inside them. It's not an accident that their presence feels like walking into a lion's den. They're evil predators, and your fear is their feast. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. The topic for today's episode is very intriguing. Why narcissists secretly love to smell fear. You can feel it when they enter the room, that sharp shift in energy, the sudden awareness that every move you make is being dissected, analyzed, tasted. They do not just see your fear, they smell it. Like a wolf catching the scent of blood. It excites them, it calls to them. There is a primal hunger in them to taste the power they hold over you, to feel your terror ripple through the air and tighten your throat. For them, it's not enough that you suffer. They want you to know you are suffering because of them. They want you to recognize their power in your trembling. Narcissists do not just like fear. They craft and manufacture it. They build it into the environment like architects of terror. They design every room you step into, every conversation, every silence to hold echoes of their control. It is not enough for them to win. They need to see you defeated. They need to watch you shrink, your shaking hands, your lowered eyes, the stammer in your speech. These are the trophies these demons collect. I know this kind of fear because I grew up in it. My grandfather was a malignant psychopathic narcissist. His weapon was not loud or obvious. It was a look, a single stare that could freeze your soul. He didn't have to speak to terrify us. One cold glance and we would lock up inside, shut down, fall silent. That look wasn't just control, it was domination. It was his way of telling us that our fear fed him. And we knew it. We learned to hold our breath when he entered a room, to avoid his eyes, to pray we wouldn't be the one who triggered that deadly stare. The threat was unspoken, but it hung over us like a storm waiting to strike. But my father, he took it to another level because he's also a narcissist. He didn't just weaponize fear, he relished it. I remember how his eyes would narrow when I trembled, how a smirk would creep across his face when he saw me shrink back, my body shaking because I knew what was coming. It wasn't just the threat of pain that broke me. It was knowing that my fear was entertainment for him. It thrilled him. It gave him a high. I wasn't a child to him. I was prey. It got worse with time because my fear disgusted him. He would mock it. If I froze, if I stammered, if I sweated from terror, he would ridicule me for it. Why are you looking down? Why aren't you saying anything? But you are terrifying me. He would sneer, his voice a blade slicing through my silence. And if I stayed frozen, too afraid to respond, it only enraged him more. He would make faces, mock me. Why? Because I was silent. Well, I did not know what I was supposed to do. When he watched my body shut down and totally collapse, he would love it. At the same time, it disgusted him. I could see it in his eyes. He hated that I was so weak, hated that I was afraid of him. But instead of softening, it made him want to punish me more, as if beating me would erase the shame he felt at seeing me break under him. And so it became a cycle. I was terrified, he hated that I was terrified, but my terror gave him power. Do you see how convoluted all of this is? He hated that too. And so he punished me, not just for the fear, but for making him feel anything about it at all. That's crazy. That is the sickness of the psychopathic, evil, demonic narcissist. They're trapped in a twisted loop. They love your fear because it makes them feel powerful, but they hate you for it. Two, because your fear reminds them that they needed to break you to feel powerful at all. And so they destroy you again and again thinking maybe the next time they won't feel that shame. Maybe the next time they will feel pure, untouchable, possibly dominant. But they never do. Because every time they make you tremble, it reminds them of how empty they really are. Their intuition is sharp. They can smell fear like wolves smell blood. They know when you are about to crack, when your voice is about to break, when your eyes are about to well with tears. And they love it. They love leading you to the edge, watching you teeter, and then giving you the final push. Because in that moment, they feel godlike. They feel invincible. Watching you shiver in the corner, trapped, helpless is their addiction, believe it or not. And they will create that terror again and again. They will design your life to be a maze of fear. They will build it with words, with their silences, with their eyes. They will craft scenarios where you can't win, where you can't escape. They will gaslight you, manipulate you, as you already know, break you down until fear becomes your home, until you can't breathe without thinking about them, until your entire existence is shaped by avoiding their rage, their cruelty, their punishment. I'm speaking from experience. And when they see you like that, hunched in the corner, sweating, silent, that is when they feel alive. And that's the reason why I call them evil. You become less than a human to them. You are just an echo of their power, a reflection of their control. And that's why they love your fear. Because your fear means they have won. It means their false self is real. It means they own you. But the truth is, they do not want you to know any of this. Fear is a lie. Fear is a tool. And once you see that, they lose their grip. The moment you stop feeding them your fear by stepping back, the moment you stop trembling and freezing and shrinking, they lose their power. How do I know this? Well, that's exactly what I did towards the end of my relationship with my father. When I stood up, I saw him trembling like a scared little mouse who was cornered in a room that he could not escape or leave. Every time you hold your head a little higher, every time you meet their eyes where they are, every time you refuse to cower, that is when you start taking your power back. And that is the moment when tables are turned and they start fearing you. Because nothing terrifies a narcissist more than losing control. Nothing terrifies them more than seeing you rise. Because when they see you stand tall, they have to face what they really are: small, empty, and weak. They have to face the truth that their power was never real. It was stolen from you. And now you are taking it back. They hate that. They do. But deep down, they know it is true. And once you stop smelling like fear, they will start to smell like what they really are: nothing at all. All of this is, as I said, experiential. This is what I did with my father. When I started having boundaries with myself, I said, I'm not going to tolerate that behavior. I'm not going to succumb to your crazy psychopathic behavior. I'm going to leave. I'm done with you. All the dependencies removed. I watched him collapse right in front of my eyes. He became mute. No words coming out of that loud mouth. Hands stopped moving. When those hands used to always rest on my cheeks, he would slap me, throw punches whenever he could. But all of a sudden, nothing. He wouldn't even dare making eye contact with me. I hated that because I never wanted to be that kind of son to him. I never wanted to terrify him. I still somewhere deep inside respected him as my father, but he pushed me so bad that I had to say enough. With his verbal, physical, psychological, and financial abuse, I had to put a stop. And that is when I tried to rescue my covert narcissistic mother as well. And that's when I knew that she was nothing but an enabler. Because until then, she kept telling me, I want to leave, but I do not know how. And when I created a way out and gave her an opportunity to reclaim life, can you guess what happened? She took his side and forced me to apologize, to seek his forgiveness, which I did not do because it was not my mistake. I didn't talk to him. A lot happened that I've already shared in other episodes. But understand, when you can, give it back to the narcissist if it is safe for you. Because back then it was safe and I left. If it is not, if you are financially dependent and if you fear that your life will be in danger, then don't. However, you need to take a stand and let go of that fear, come out of that freeze response so that you can thrive and you can see the narcissist for who they are. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. Let me know if you resonated with what I shared with you today. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.